Hi, it's Mark from HotOperator. HotOperator as a company is your single source for all your restaurant marketing. We do menu design, engineering, social media, advertising, new product development, objective advice, very important, consulting and web development. All of this that we do is with a single motto. We are trying really hard here at HotOperator to save restaurant operators that are independent. If you watch what's happening, we're losing about 5.5% of independent restaurants. That's a downtrend year over year. So chains are just eating it up, and we're trying really hard to save the independent restaurant operators. So that's who we work with. I'm going to start with asking a couple of quick questions because it all starts with your menu. So these are menu questions to consider. Do you think of your menu as an investment or an expense? Have you ever thought of your menu as a leverage used by your supplier to hold you hostage? When was the last time you had a menu review that was purely objective, that only had your best interests at heart? And 4, can your menu make your business more profitable? Do you really think that's true? Here's some answers to consider. Your menu is an investment in success of your business. Next, when you place your trust in a supplier, you're actually having that so-called partner take control of your menu. You don't own it, you don't get it back, and the menu is set up to help your supplier make more money, not you necessarily. 3, objectivity is key to your success. It frees you from ordering leverage your supplier is holding over you. It literally gets you free of all that. And some more answers to consider. The cookie cutter menu designed by robots. These are the things you find online, and they're all the same, and they'll let you make any mistake you want to make in your menu. One of the things HotOperator does, all of ours are handcrafted, but we try real hard not to let you make mistakes. Sometimes our clients will just say, I want it done a certain way, and that's it, even though we'll say, we'll do that, but it's not going to help you. But mostly, if you take our advice, you're going to make more money. And then each menu that we do is built to increase profits and increase brand awareness. So many restaurant operators buy a computer-generated menu thinking they're saving a bundle, when in fact, they're missing great opportunities. If you don't believe me, here's a study that was done by NBC Today. So they did research at Brooklyn Diner in New York City, and they had 2 menus. One was done by the operator partner, and the other was an independent menu design engineer. And according to NBC study, the independent menu increased profits by 16%. Now think about that. If you've got a $1 million restaurant, that's a lot of money that goes into your business, and it's a lot of money you're leaving on tables. So let's start at the beginning. When a person goes into a restaurant, we know they are going to order an entree or sandwich. And the goal of the menu engineering is to help guests pick the correct menu item at the right price. So we know they're going to do that. So it's just a matter of getting them to buy the right thing. It's not so bad. And by the way, your guests, they want to know what you think is a good thing to order. They want to know what's inside your head. So here's the simple part: enhancing the offerings to make you a little more money. That's not difficult to do. Avoiding making a price list. So just having all the prices listed on one side of the menu, whatever, that's easy, right? Removing dollar signs, another easy thing to do. Using mental anchoring items, that's actually a little more difficult, but it can help you help guests become less price sensitive. But the other things nearly anyone can do. These aren't really the difficult thing. The difficult part is knowing the perfect product positioning, knowing the perfect category and subcategory numbers to offer. There are hit numbers, or there's magic numbers you need to have in certain categories, and so we help our restaurant operators get those sweet spots, hitting the sweet spots for each offering, which means having the right price for everything, using the perfect product highlighting. There's one way to highlight menus. We've done a lot of research here at HotOperator about that. There's literally only one way to do it, and if you don't do it that way, you're missing an opportunity. And a lot of people think they know about this stuff, but we redesign supplier menus every day, and most are just not getting it right. The even more difficult part is poetry is critical when trying to enhance the stars on your menu. And you're selling to women, not to men. Men typically scan menus, women read the menu to try to find what they absolutely want. So the design needs to enhance and help guests expect great food. Most important, the menu needs to express your brand. And lots of people will tell you that they are brand experts, but I can tell you most are not. The perfect menu, by the way, is like having a fairy godmother touching your guests on the head and getting them to buy what you tell them to buy in your restaurant. Now, a lot of times I'll talk to restaurants early on and they'll say, well, I don't really know, what's the perfect thing. And my answer to that is, we've got to figure that out. That's why we do the matrix. So how it works, there are 5 things that we do at HotOperator that other people don't, and this is what makes us different. First, we start with a menu matrix. Now, a lot of people will do those, but we do them analytically, and we do them completely objectively. We're just looking for what's selling, what isn't, what's making you more money, and what isn't, and what your guests are likely to do. If you're doing this correctly, it's like doing a focus group for your business. It basically tells you what people are thinking. Every day they're voting with their pocketbooks and their feet. They're either eating with you or not, and when they do, they're deciding what looks good on your menu. We do this with only one goal, and that is to make you more successful. We want you to be basically chain proof. The next step is we start making decisions based on facts, like, is the product something you love to make? That's really important. Is the product something you want to be famous for? You have to make decisions about those things. And is the product going to bring a higher plate contribution to your restaurant? This is really important too, because if you're going to sell something, you've got to make money. You're in business to make money, so you might as well make money on things that sell better. Step 3, write the menu to appealing to women. Women read menus, again, men scan them. With a focus on the items that you want to sell more of. And what we do is we write, we explain why and take every bit of your thoughts and concerns into the account. So we get your okay, and then we start the design process. We got to go through this together. And by the way, you're seeing 2 apple pies here, apple pie and Grandma before the war pie. Now, the reason you're seeing that is because if I tell you there's a story behind one and not the other, you're more likely to buy the one that has a good story behind it. So we pick a few things on your menu that you can have a great story behind. Step 4, use strategic price points to hit the sweet spot for each item. This is the price point that will offer the highest plate contribution for your restaurant while making sure your guests will see the product as offering still a good value. We don't want people getting upset. By the way, we always say to our customers, if somebody gets upset and starts talking about that, you need to just ask a really simple question and just say, look, we were either going to bring in cheaper product that isn't as good, or we had to take a price increase. What do you think is the best option? And your guests are always going to say, oh, no, don't change the product. We want the product to stay the same. And by the way, in your restaurant, it is critical, this is really critical, that your restaurant is always consistent. Step 5, we fan the menu. We're the only company using this format. That stands for positioning, highlighting, mental anchoring, and numbers, or strategic pricing. And a menu designed from award-winning designers. The people that we have working here are creative directors. God, they're amazing. They can make amazing things happen for you. And they understand this process. That's all they do. So getting started is actually pretty easy. We need 3 things from you, or 2 if you only have 2. We need a PMix, a product sales report from the menu that's for the menu that's on the table. So 3 to 6 months is ideal. We need a PDF or a printed copy of your menu as it looks on your tables, not the previous menu or a potential menu. We're just looking for what the guests are seeing with that PMix. Those things are connected. And your ideal food cost percentages, if you have them, and if you don't know this offhand, we can help you with that because we do so many menus, we kind of know all that. The matrix deliverable, what you get back is a scatter graph, a PowerPoint deck, and a consultation based on marketing. The strategic graph will break your menu down into 4 categories: stars, puzzles, workhorses, and dogs. I'm sure you've seen that before. But the stars are above average popularity and profits. Those are the ones we really want to focus on. And then the workhorses we're very interested in. Those are above average popularity, but below average profits. That's usually a burger or something like that on a menu. And the problem with those is you have to be careful with them because you can get a burger almost anywhere. So it's difficult for you to differentiate your product from everybody else's. But there's more. You get recommendations and a menu creative brief. So based on the scatter graph, we develop a creative brief. This covers demographics, consumer interests, and ideas, and how to develop a menu for the highest return on your investment, and an estimated cost, of course. We also look at your business overall, each category individually, bookends and day parts. We need what needs to be done to increase income, what guests are likely to be attracted to, ideas for each category for new items, and how to get more profit or foot traffic. This is important. As our client, you need to be comfortable and to believe in your menu. If you don't, you're going to be looking for reasons that it didn't work. And if you start looking for reasons it didn't work, it won't work. Critically important that you really understand or really believe in your menu, so when it hits tables, you start to really engage with it. The return on investment for a lot of restaurants is between 7 and 16%. That's on average. I just talked to a restaurant operator in Las Vegas that we did their menu a year ago, and they got on their patio downstairs, or the main restaurant downstairs, a 33% increase in revenue, and upstairs on their patio, a 44 or 45%, something in that range, percent increase in revenue. It was an incredible year for them. They just did amazing things, and that was a lot to do with the restaurant menu. The foot traffic was good there. They have very good foot traffic, but the menu really did a lot for them. So you ready? So let's get the PMix together, and I'll take a copy of your current menu. I need to get those two things before we get started. And why are we doing it? Why do we care? Well, we're losing too many independent restaurants. As I mentioned before, we're losing about 5.5% of independent restaurant owners, operators year over year. And I hate to see it. I mean, chain restaurants are just beating the crap out of everybody. I don't like it. It's the independent operator who gives the community its personality. It makes it different. You know, when I go to West Undershirt, Michigan, I want to see a different menu that I saw here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So it's time to push back before it's too late. And by the way, nearly 80% of distributors' profit comes from independent operators. That's you. But now, one of the reasons that they do things on the menu the way they do them is that they see this as an option. You go out of business after a couple of years. 18 months later, someone else is going to be in that same spot, and they'll be selling them again. So they just rotate through. It doesn't matter to them that you're gone because they're assuming that someone's going to take your spot. Is that always true? No. Some of them stop and go away altogether, but they're not thinking that way. They're thinking about their own moving cases. That's what they think about. What we think about here is your profit overall. We want to make sure you're making enough money to not just survive, but to thrive. So again, I'm Mark from HotOperator. Give us a shout. Reach out to us. Mark@hotoperator.com. Easy way to get in touch with me. And I look forward to talking to you.